Alright guys, today I'm going to do a real quick instructional video on my flipping rig. I'm going to keep it real basic, try and keep it real short just to give you guys an idea of what I use, why I use it, and hopefully if you want you can give it a try sometime. So, things you'll need. First off, bobber stoppers, which can be had I found mine at Bass Pro. They're just little rubber stoppers. They come on these little metal hooks here, and I'll show you how you use those. So bobber stoppers for one. Next off, tungsten. I flip with tungsten, half ounce usually, sometimes 1 ounce if the stuff's too thick. You could flip with 3/8 ounce, not 3 ounce, 3/8 ounce, or a little lighter if you choose. So you'll also need that. Next up, give me 1 second here. So next up is going to be your hook. I used to flip with just a standard wide gap hook, which you can use. But now I like to flip with an actual flipping hook, and this is a Trocar, I believe 3 or 4 flipping hook, and you can see it's got the little bait keeper up top. One thing about those, the Trocars, super sharp. I love them. They're a little more expensive, but I have bent a few on really hard hook sets and some bigger fish, but I haven't broke any, and I haven't lost any fish because of a bent hook, but it's just something to note. But other than that, I do love them. And then, of course, you're going to need your bait of choice, obviously. So now we'll get to the rig here. Now, for the video purposes, I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do this without because my other pole's already rigged and I hate to waste another bobber stopper. So I'm going to show you how to rig this just using regular mono line. I never flip with mono line, I always flip with braid, but for the video I'm just going to show you with the standard line here. So, but yeah, so remember that when I flip, I always use braid at least 35. I'm a lot more comfortable using 50. And if I can swing it or I have it, sometimes I'll go 65, or you could even go 80, depending how heavy what you're flipping is. Okay, let's get this show on the road here. So, little bobber stoppers here. There's going to be a metal loop at the end of each one. It's really hard for you to see in the video because the wire is thinner than the line, but there's a little metal loop right there. So take your tag end to your line, run it through that metal loop. Bring yourself out, I would say about 8 to 9 inches, okay, your tag end. So now your line is hooked on that little end there, that little metal loop. Now all you're going to do, grab a hold of the bobber stopper and slide it off. You're going to slide it right off, and see it's going to slide onto your line. So go ahead and keep pulling it, keep pulling it. Now you've got it on your line, and these are still connected down here. Now find which end of your line is the tag end. So hold your bobber stopper, find the tag end of your line, and pull it through. Okay, so see, my bobber stopper's on, tag end's out, and these will slide right off. There you go. So now you got your line, you got your bobber stopper, and there's your tag end there. So now we don't need those. And I'm tangled on my tripod. Okay, next up, go ahead and throw your weight on there. You could even use just your standard lead worm weight if that's what you like to use. I like tungsten because it's more dense. There's your tungsten. Now, whatever hook you want to use, for the example of the video, I'm going to use the flipping hook. I just tie a standard loop knot, or a fisherman's knot as I call it, which is around the finger. Oh, let me show you guys. So you take it, run it through the eye of the hook. I place my finger there. I loop the tag in around the main end around 4 or 5 times. Bring it through this loop, bring it through that loop, and then you're going to bring it up top, pull it, and it's going to cinch right down at the bottom there. Bite that off since I don't have scissors. Okay, so essentially this is what your rig's going to look like. You've got your bobber stopper, your hook, or your weight and your hook. Next, take your favorite creature bait, crawfish, worm, whatever you like to use. I'm just going to use this little crawfish to show you in the video. Go ahead and run it through up to that keeper. There we go. So that's going to hold it up top there, just like that. See? Can't pull it through because that keeper's there. Go ahead and run it through. I almost always rig weedless, so I bury the hook just a little bit. And now to give you an example of what this bobber stopper does, say you don't have a bobber stopper, you're fishing without a bobber stopper, you go to flip a weed bed, your hook falls through, or your weight falls through, and your bait stays up top. Okay, so your bait's resting up here while your weight fell through. That's no good, right? So what these do, slide it down. I usually slide it tight against the weight. You can leave a little room, and now look what you've got. It all falls together when you cast it out. Everything stays together, and those have worked wonders for me, man. I absolutely love those things. So essentially, here's your rig. Weedless, get that nice flat line across the top. You've got your bobber stopper, your tungsten, your flipping hook, and you're good to go. I encourage you to try it sometime if you've got some weed beds or grass or something around your local area where you can try something like this. Any questions, let me know. Thanks, guys.